Eurosport player.
Tom Coronel locks up in the lead of the race. Nicky Katzberg's car is in the pits. So too, again, is Ugo Valente. Coronel, big lock-up as he came into corner 10 on the short back straight up to 11 and 12. Lopez, for the first time, almost had an overlap for the leader, but couldn't find anywhere to go around there. That's such a short straight, and this one is equally short. But Coronel really feeling the pressure now. You can see he's moving the car to try and defend ground against Lopez, who again has a look.
The Chevy, you can always see it bouncing slightly. The corner kind of hops. So one thing we've seen the Citroen, it's been amazing all weekend. All the curb strikes and all the long radius corners, it seems to settle really nicely.
Muller behind, also looking under pressure suddenly from Thiago Montero. On board with Jose Maria Lopez. And that little lunge he had down in the first corner cost him ground, and that will give Tom Coronel another lap where he doesn't have to worry about whether there's a red wing inside him when he turns in. And this is Montero's view of Muller. Gap Lopez to Muller is just hovering around a second. Gap Muller to Montero is hovering around a car length. Thiago's not giving this one up, is he?
No, and
you know, Honda could win the World Championship here against a factory Citroen operation. Montero can see how he could be the driver's champion against Lopez, a two-time world champion in the best car in the field.
Yeah, but as we said, you know, they've got to make sure they don't compromise their car in this race. We know how strong that Citroen is. We know how hard it is. We know how not desperate Muller is, but we know he's getting pushed into a corner. And Muller's a dangerous guy when he's back in the corner, as we've seen a few times.
Yes,
so Montero's got to be really careful. If he's going to stick a move here, it's going to have to be the gratis of Muller, I think. It's
going to have to be absolutely clean. And as you say, I mean, right now they are desperately waiting for the driver in front to commit an unforced error. You know, they're pushing hard from behind, but it's about the driver in front maintaining his focus. In the face of an aggressive bowling attack, the batsman just has to focus 100% on what he's doing, and any tiny little flinch from the car in front opens a gap that may never get shut. Coronel, now Lopez had that little lunge, he got right up behind him. Coronel now nearly a second away. I wonder if Lopez is having to just allow temperatures to calm down a little in his car. He'd been up behind Tom's rear bumper for so long in turbulent air that even the Citroen's cooling system may have been deciding it was getting a little too hot for company.
Yeah, and he doesn't need it, does he? He doesn't have to make that move, and sitting behind him, he'll be in his dirt. Yeah, we saw him locking up. That's starting to get into a risky situation where he can lock up and go straight on or cause some damage or something, so he doesn't need to be there.
Coronel's got 16 points in the championship. Lopez can afford to allow him to outscore him. The two French drivers, well, French and the Belgian, Philippe and Demoustier, battling, and Philippe makes that mistake, and that's what we're talking about. The pressure from behind, just being distracted a fraction of a second too long going into the braking area, bounce over the chicanes, the car understeers wide off the track, and suddenly you've given the place away that you've just spent 14 laps defending.
Only 0.8 of a second between them now. I mean, it has grown significantly. It was down to just under 0.2 before, so it has stretched out a bit. But
Lopez just a fraction quicker, a 1/10 of a second quicker than Coronel on that last lap. There's Pauline. Kids are at home. It's been the end of 2 weeks of school holidays. I think she was looking for a less nervous and a more relaxing time here this weekend. Not sure she was expecting to be watching Tommy leading from corner 3 of lap 1 of this race. Obviously, when you start on the opening 2 rows, you've got a chance. But this is not what any of us would have predicted as a podium. Coronel, Lopez, Muller, that would have been a brave gamble, I think.
The Citroen's mega into that corner there, isn't it? Just after, is that turn 10, I think?
That's turn 10, yeah.
Just into turn 10. It's always amazing on the brakes there. It seems to close up all that gap, that almost a second he had. He's almost closed up in that one corner.
And that is the first gear hairpin as well, so they really fire off there unbelievably well. The Citroen's traction, even on this bumpy circuit, is superb, and he is once more right with Coronel. And John Philippi has come in without a wheel. Gives you the size. I tell you what, you always say discs like dinner plates. If you went into a restaurant with a dinner plate the size of the front discs on these cars, you really would be coming out feeling very full.
That one corner, he's taken 6/10 out of Coronel.
Yeah.
Oh, big lock there from Coronel.
Big lock up from top, and again, you know, Lopez has got to make sure that he doesn't end up biffing Coronel, because even if he doesn't fire him off, there is potential for damage and overheating in Lopez's car. We've only got another 4 or 5 laps, 6 laps left, haven't we? So, Lopez he's in a little bit of a tricky situation. The closer he follows, the more it raises the odds of something going wrong that is a little out of his control. He would almost... See, this is trying to take the racing driver out of the racing driver. He would almost be better backing off a couple of car lengths. But you can't, because he's now desperate to try and pass.
Yeah, and while he's on the back of Coronel will start inevitably having to defend a little bit, which will then push him back into Muller. So it's about managing that gap. He doesn't need to put Coronel under too much pressure, but he also doesn't want to risk having a moment and bumping him.
You're absolutely right, because the more he frustrates Coronel's ability to produce speed, the closer Ivan is going to get. And the one thing that Lopez doesn't want is to bring Muller into play behind him. At the moment, he's master of his own destiny, Lopez, pretty much. If he has a lunge, it's his choice. If he doesn't have a lunge, it's also his choice.
And he's dropped back to 6/10 of a gap between Coronel again, so I wonder if that is now something he's kind of thinking about, and allowing the tyres to have a little breather as well. There's no point pushing too hard. And
tyre temperature, engine temperature, but possibly most critically of all, brake temperature. All the drivers, Coronel took a lot of curb hop there. All the drivers have been saying how hard the brakes are working here. There aren't long enough straights to cool them down, and there are a lot of big stops here. And Muller again having to weave across the road to try and keep the door closed on Thiago Montero in the Honda for 3rd place. And I wonder whether the Citroens are struggling a little bit more for retardation than their rivals. Again, Muller has a little lock-up. It's the unladen rear wheel. Really doesn't matter that much if it locks. Lopez quite with Coronel the way he was, but Montero is making a mischief of himself behind Ivan.
You can really see the Citroen in those traction zones there. There was a good onboard shot from Montero's car, and as soon as Muller got on the gas, he probably pulled the car length. They've always been super strong in that situation, and that's obviously with maximum success Balleston as well.
Well, Thiago, his wife has gone back to home in Portugal to race in the Wings for Life series of races today, so she's gone off running. Kids are still here though, watching Daddy and hoping that he'll finish on the podium. What does he have to say?
Yeah, Citroen has a very good traction. You can see the near-me very good traction they have.
Well, it's that firing off the first gear traction out of turn 10 that renders the back straight sort of impossible for anybody else to do anything about them.
Yeah, it's exactly what we were just saying there as well, wasn't it? You know, he's getting his foot down and he's gone. He's off like a scalded cat on the tin roof, and that doesn't allow you to create an overlap. And we already know how hard it is to pass here anyway. So unless you can do it on the brakes somewhere, you don't really have a chance.
And we've seen with Coronel, haven't we? Even when he gets a clean exit out of 10, Lopez can fire right up behind him. And again, we're down into that section through this sweeping corner 9 and out of turn 10. Lopez again looking for clear air. He's not looking for visibility there because he now knows the track well enough to know what's coming up next. He's looking for clear air, and again that suggests that he is worried about temperatures, probably brake temperatures as much as anything else.
The way the radiator systems work on these cars, they don't have a system like your road car has. They blank off parts of the radiator, but I would find it hard to... Sometimes you'd expect that if you qualified pole and expect to run away that they'd, under blanked it, but the fact that we're starting in the middle of the pack, but you're right, he does seem to be making a conscious decision to pull out and get into some clear air.
Well, when you're using the brakes this hard and there is turbulent air stalling in the front of your air duct instead of ramming through and cooling the brakes, then I mean the last thing you want is on a street circuit like this is a pedal that suddenly goes to the floor. Fastest race lap just been sent incidentally by Hugo Valente, who's come back out of the pit lane after stopping for damage or some work on the car at any rate. A 1:23.087. He's the only man inside a 1:24 lap on the track. In fact, that is very nearly a full second quicker than the fastest lap from Tom Coronel, and over a second quicker than either of the Citroens have managed in the race. Norbert Michelis, again, you see, look at all three Hondas fanning out, looking for fresh air.
So Thiago is trying to attack Muller, so stay close, try to get a position in case he passes Muller.
Alessandro Mariani on the radio saying, you know, okay, if the door is open, we want at least 2 of you to beetle through if we can, if not 3, because of course more Hondas in front of the second Citroen means more championship points for Honda ahead of Citroen.
Yeah, that was Montero punched the hole, you scoop the meat situation, wasn't it? That was what he was being told there.
Yeah. Now, obviously, you don't necessarily want to be right up behind your teammate in case he makes a mistake and then that takes both of you out. But on the other hand, as you say, if Montero is going to have a last lap lunge, then if the door's open and Muller is all over the curbs and with dirt on the tyres, be ready to try and snaffle something away as well.
Somebody's lost a part of their car back there.
Yeah.
Must be one of the guys further down the grid.
Didn't look like anything very substantial. Looked like a sort of
piece of carbon or
black plastic bag or something. There is a bit of litter on the circuit. It's getting a bit blowy this morning again. Not particularly windy, but enough. And of course, like a tube train coming through a station, cars going between these narrow walls create a vortex, and that helps to draw debris onto the track. Well, there's the brains trust at Yas. At the moment, though, it looks as though Honda are going to end up with 4th, 5th and 6th. Citroen with 2nd and 3rd. And Tom Coronel is a lap and a bit away from me not saying things that I shouldn't say until they happen. Coronel, 19 laps completed now, out of 21 in this opening race in Marrakesh. I'm going to have to go and... You watch the action, I'm going to have a quick look back.
Lopez seems to have got that Teflon coating that Muller's had for so many years, hasn't he? You know, like, things just seem to fall into his lap and work his way. I mean, who would have predicted that from starting where he started to be up in the 2nd place and without actually having to overtake anyone, just relying on other people's misfortune? Well,
they did make a good start, both the Citroen drivers, but as you say, you know, 4 of the top 6 in front of him were taken out or took each other out in incidents, so it did sort of fall his way. Critically for him, of course, it doesn't matter so much that Ivan is 2nd, but that there's another car between him and Thiago, his closest rival, and then several more between him and Bernardi in 9th, who's his 2nd closest rival in the championship. Ivan, of course, not even his 3rd closest rival in points at the moment. Whoa! And Coronel very, very slow off the corner. Is this a penultimate lap opportunity for Lopez? Yeah, okay, fantastic. Shall we see the cars? There they are. Wow! And Lopez into 11, barely able to stop the car. Just got a little bit of Coronel. Tommy knew that was coming, didn't he? Because Lopez was so close.
He'd gone defensive as well, hadn't he?
Yeah. OK, 2 more kilometres for Tom Coronel. 12 more corners, 11 more corners. 10 more corners, and Lopez, I think, took the warning out of that, didn't he?
Yeah.
That actually, a lap from the end, he nearly put the leader in the wall and himself in the sin bin.
Yeah.
And handed a race to Muller and a 2nd place, more importantly, to Thiago. And if that had been the case, Lopez would have finished out of the points. Thiago would have got 18 points. He would be our championship leader had that happened. So, again, you know, playing devil's advocate here, if you're Lopez, you want to race, you want to win this, but you want the points ahead of Thiago much more than the 5 or 7 extra points you're going to get if you get by Coronel.
Yeah, you're right, that was it. He'll have taken heat from that warning and thought, you know, I can sit here and seconds ideal, that's great for me.
Last chance. Is he going to have a run at Coronel here? There's Roberto Ravalli and the Roal Motorsport team. 2 corners left into turn 11. Coronel has the lead, and he left, he puts it in the wall out of the final corner. He will take victory here in the opening race in Marrakesh, a circuit that has always treated him badly. It's his first win since 2012. Tom Coronel victorious on the streets of Marrakesh in a drag race for 3rd. Ivan Muller gets it ahead of Thiago Montero by 0.3 of a second. Montero 4th, Michelis 5th, Huff 6th, Tarquini 7th, Chilton and Bernani 8th and 9th. What happened on the last lap? They were 9th and 10th before. So who did we miss? No, we didn't. That happened obviously beforehand. Oh, I know. It was when Valente came into the pits and Katzberg came into the pits. So delight for Pauline Svart, and delight, I'm sure, for the whole Royal Motorsport team, for Tom Coronel. Well, that was a race that I don't think he had a game plan for, but Harry, you know, when life hands you the lead, you've got to hang on to it with both hands.
Yeah, and he's been quick all weekend. Like we said, Sector 2, he's been awesome through, and he thoroughly deserves a win there, so hats off to Coronel.
How long was the triple jump that gave Jonathan Edwards an Olympic?
Since 2013. A very happy Tom Coronel is down with Alex Le Gui.
Oh, the opening race at Marrakesh. Since 2012, we think, congratulations, what a race.
Yeah, it was number 5. I mean, I saw Hugo hitting Thompson, so I thought, he was going to have some penalty for sure, because it was under the braking, he just tapped him. Then I saw that also Katzberg had some trouble with the Volvo, so I said, oh, okay, I get some space from everybody. And even my team was telling me, come on, be careful, because he has to drive through. I said, I know, don't worry. Then I was trying to control Lopez, but he's a clever guy. He's trying to play the game, you know, he makes a gap, then he drives towards you, he teases you a little bit, he makes a gap. This is why he's the world champion, you know, but he tapped me twice on the back, so twice I was sideways. But yeah, the win is mine.
Great result, well done, Tom.
See, Tom understands the way the game is played, doesn't he? And he's been around long enough, and he's seen enough of these races that he knows, you know, okay, sure, he's going to get a penalty. If he doesn't get a penalty for some reason, then we're going to attack him. But otherwise, we'll just allow the stewards to do, you know, what they should do and take it easy. And as he said, you know when you've got somebody behind you and you're battling for the winner race, at some stage it's likely they're going to have a really good go and there's going to be a bit of contact, because it's touring cars. And Harry, he was sort of expecting it, and he dealt with it. And,
yeah.
and as we said, Lopez had a lot more to lose.
Yeah, Coronel's been around this game for long enough to know that Lopez doesn't really need that position, and he will be wise enough, as we know he is, that he doesn't need to push Lopez back into Muller. So as long as Coronel keeps consistent, he knows Lopez isn't going to take any daft risks. He's not going to try and fire it up the inside anywhere, and he's also going to try his best not to bump him. And yeah, he did clip him a couple of times under braking, but it was just minor little taps. And yeah, I'm sure Tom understands that as well.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't knocking him out of the way, was he, in any way, shape or form. Jose Maria Lopez then extends his championship advantage over Thiago Montero. He was 12 points in front, and he is now 17 points. I can't subtract like on air. Mehdi Benani still third in the standings. Rob Huff ahead of Ivan Muller and Norbert Michelitz. Tom Coronel moves up to 9th place. He was in 13th in the standings. And, of course, the real disappointment there for Volvo's Ted Björk, who was looking to try and get a podium, and especially for James Thompson, starting on an unexpected